This is Jonathan Aguilar for Pro Boxing Fans here in London. February 27th, Lawrence Okolie defends his WBO Cruiserweight title on a Sunday. Eddie,
Yes.
talk me through that decision.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that Sunday has a lot of potential as a fight day. You know, you've got the football finishes late afternoon, everyone's at home, very captive audience. Probably not from a live crowd experience. People like to go out and have a good drink on a Saturday night, but a little bit earlier. Main event around 9 p.m. Tickets went well yesterday, and a good card as well. Of course, Lawrence Okolie in a big fight, but also Galal Yafai, you know, the Olympic hero, gold medalist, making his pro debut, and Campbell Hatton and Chev Clark making his debut, and Fabio Wardley and many others as well. Anthony Fowler up at middleweight. It's going to be a good night of boxing.
Starting Galal Yafai nice and easy with the WBC title, international title. What's the decision?
I sat down with him and I just said, like, not being funny, but do you really need 5 or 6 rounders? Like, you are such an exceptional talent. You've boxed in WSBs, you've boxed, you know, they're almost like pro fights. How do you feel about doing something different, Lomachenko style, and coming out and fighting 10-round championship fight for your debut? And he loved it, and that's what we're going to do. And I think people, you know, one, it's a good story, but two, people will be responsive about that, and they'll appreciate him wanting to move at pace.
Who's the most realistic unification for Lawrence Okolie if he wins it?
I think the winner of Gulamarin against Igorov. You know, we're already in talks with those guys to make that happen. One of them got COVID in December; they couldn't do their fight. But you know, of course, Makabu's got one eye, hoping to get the Canelo fight. Bradis has lost the plot, and I think that Gulamarin Igorov is probably the most likely.
Eddie, I've got to touch on the heavyweights. Obviously, you said on DAZN yesterday that Anthony Joshua has been offered a step aside, but it wasn't the fee reported in the Telegraph. What is his mindset towards all of this at the moment? I know you spoke to him on Tuesday.
His mindset is, I want to fight Alexander Usyk, I can beat him now. My mindset, and you know, his management's mindset is, look, if there's a deal that makes sense from a planning perspective for you to fight the biggest fight in heavyweight history, and prove to the world that you are the best heavyweight on the planet, like unquestionably, which would be against the winner of Fury against Usyk, and it was absolutely cast iron for a few months later, and you could have an interim fight where you could gel with your new training environment, that could make sense to us. And we have to advise you that we think that could make sense. So we're at a stage where we're willing to see if the points that would need to be contracted and concrete would actually be what we were told they were. And we should look at that. But we never got that far because Tyson Fury didn't want to fight Usyk as his next fight in Undisputed. He wanted to have an interim bout at the end of March. Now all of a sudden he wants to fight Dillian Whyte instead. So I can't answer on his behalf, but ultimately for any plan like that to take place, all 4 people would have to agree. And that's not going to happen in time. So as we stand here now, purse bids happen tomorrow for Dillian Whyte against Tyson Fury, and AJ fights Usyk, but anything can change, you know. But that's where we're at right now.
Just on the step aside argument, I've seen sort of, you know, varying opinions on this. What some people are saying, it makes sense business-wise, and for him to, you know, like you say, if it is a new trainer, to gel with them. But others are saying that he should take the Usyk fight. The rematch is there. Take the fight. What's your opinion on both?
Generally, the sensible people go with the first one, and the ones who, you know, I mean, if AJ had no advice from anyone, he would 1,000,000% take the Usyk fight next, without any conversation. But, you know, of course, there's the step-aside money. There's the amount of money that will be paid for him to fight the winner of Usyk against. And then there's more important things, like his development, like his new training environment. He thinks he can beat him now. Go into a fight without a trainer and beat him, because that's his mentality. He's a fighter. But my advice would be, if everything was perfect and if everything made sense, we should look at it. But we never really got that far at the moment because you know, all 4 fighters wouldn't agree to a plan.
Just want to touch on something I saw in the Mail where they said that Dillian Whyte's been offered in excess of $5 million to step aside, and a scenario that's been explored is Fury Usyk followed by Joshua Usyk followed by Dillian Whyte fighting the winner. What is that? Not true?
It's not true. No.
Okay. Can you just respond to Tyson Fury's comments yesterday saying that he claimed that he'd lost $90 million?
Well, he's the king of contradictions. I mean, the day before, AJ was a coward for taking the step aside. Now he's the worst businessman in the world for not taking a step aside. So, like, he doesn't, but no one really calls him out on it. you know, and but you're talking, you know, you could see the kind of numbers that are involved, and that's why it's something you have to consider, quite frankly, if everything is protected in terms of what you want.
Last one on this, your gut feeling on how tomorrow goes?
Right now, purse bids, Fury against Dillian Whyte. We will bid very aggressively. You have to put down 10% deposit with your bid, which is nice, a lot of money. We might win, we might not. If we do, it'll be fantastic. Love to promote that fight. So let's get it on.
A couple of quick ones. Liam Smith, Jesse Vargas. When are we looking for a reschedule?
We're talking potentially April for that fight. Jesse was okay and he thought he'd be ready for March. Then he didn't recover as quickly as he would have liked to recover from COVID. That fight, though, still take place. In America.
And finally, Canelo Alvarez, Mike Coppinger reporting yesterday there's an offer from PBC for Charlo and an offer for you from Bivol in May and then Gennady Golovkin. What conversations have you had?
I mean, not necessarily in that order, but just that there are two fights, obviously, that we'd love to put on for DAZN. Seeing him early next week and we'll talk through them. Just really what him and Eddie fancy, really, what they want to do. We'd love to secure the signature of Canelo Alvarez. He's the best fighter in the world, and we'll see if our proposal is attractive to him.
Cheers, Eddie. Appreciate it.